Hey everyone, good morning. Happy Monday. Welcome to another Creatress chat. I hope everyone has had a great weekend. I hope everyone's ready. This is the last half of a week in September, so I'm hoping you're ready to finish this month out strong and go on into October strong. How are you doing? How's your week going so far? It's 10 a.m. Pacific time, so I know like for my West Coast people, we're just starting our days, but my East Coast people, your day is like halfway through. So how are you doing? How's your day going? How's your Monday going? Let me know in the comments. Today on the Creators Chat, I want to talk about telling your story in your brand. So, back in the olden days, brands and like the founders' stories were somewhat separated. It was like, this is the professional face that you put forward for your brand. This is how you act in this space professionally. This is how you respond to customers. Unless it was like a mom and pop like type store, you didn't really know the story behind the brand, and you really didn't know the story of like the founders of said brand. Unless like there was some huge like documentary or something about it, but you really didn't know. It was like, this is the brand and we don't know the people behind it. Now, fast forward to present time, it's so important now more than ever to have a brand that has a story behind it. People are shopping now more with value-based businesses and value-based brands, and brands that they can connect with, and brands that share the same morals as them and the same views and opinions as them. And with that is shown from your story. So there are ways to incorporate your story into your brand and have your story kind of feed your brand. One way to do it is to kind of cultivate your brand voice. I know we talked a few times about authenticity and being your true self. When you're cultivating your brand voice, back when I was studying marketing, few years ago, when I was studying marketing in undergrad, it was like, okay, these are your brand voices. You are either professional, or you're like tech savvy, or you're like playful. Those are the brand voices that you choose to fit in category wise. Now your brand voice should be your voice. How do you communicate with people on a day-to-day basis? How do you explain your product? If you were sitting with your friends, how are you explaining your product or service to them? How are you teaching them about what you know? The way that you talk to your friends or your family, that's your brand voice, because that voice is authentic to you. Gone are the days of having to conform to these specific type of brand voices. You don't have to be super professional. You don't have to be super tech savvy and up on all the lingo. You don't have to be super playful. Be you with your brand, and that kind of feeds your brand voice, which helps tell your brand story. Also, another way to tell your story within your brand is to consider the type of partnerships you go into. Like I mentioned, people are looking for brands that share their type of values, that share their views, that share their morals, and you can see what a person's views or morals are through the type of partnerships that they have, through the type of people that they bring onto their platform, or through the type of organizations that they choose to work with. And these are subtle ways to tell your story, because there are ways where you can sit in front of the camera and say, hey, this is my business. This is why I started the business. This is what's happened in my life to lead me to this point to start the business. So that's one way to tell your story. But other subtle ways to tell your story through your brand is your brand voice, considering the type of partnerships that you have with your brand. Who are you working with? Are you working with someone who will bring value to your customer base, or are you just working with someone who you think has a big following and will get you in front of more people? People can see through that. So your partnerships and who you work with can also be a way to tell your brand story. Also, transparency. Being transparent in your happenings, especially if you're a up and coming entrepreneur, if you're just starting on your entrepreneurial journey, being transparent speaks to who you are and speaks to your story and speaks to your journey, so much so that people can relate to it. Now, when I say being transparent, I don't mean you necessarily have to share every single thing that goes wrong, every success, every failure. You don't have to say, well, this happened to me in my past and it was so sad and then it led me to this. You don't have to go for pity when you're being transparent, but just sharing, like I do, just sharing kind of like what you're struggling with. Hey, I'm a new business owner and I'm struggling with time management. But I found out these tools and this is the way that I'm managing my time. Or, hey, I'm a new content creator and this is overwhelming, but I found these new ways to do this and I'm going to try this out and I'll let you guys know how it goes. Being transparent kind of brings people into your journey and brings people into your story and helps them relate to you more. You don't have to tell everything to be transparent. So that's really what I wanted to talk about today, is how to like tell your story and bring your story into your brand, because your story feeds your brand. I'm going to say that one more time. Your story feeds your brand. Your brand is not this entity by itself over here on an island that you create to sell your products. You are your brand. So if you are being transparent and being authentic within your brand, your story kind of shines through that. Yeah. So that's what I wanted to share today. I want to let you guys know that I started a new Instagram page that's going to have all of my like coaching tips, all of this type of content on it. So if you want to connect with me, if you're more on Instagram than Facebook, or this also streams live on YouTube, but if you're more on Instagram than those platforms, then follow the new page at the Creatress Coach. It'll have all this type of content. I'll probably start going live more on that page. That'll probably be the first space for you to know like what's new with the coaching programs or what new programs are coming up. So follow that page at the Creatress Coach on Instagram. And I will see you guys next Monday. Have a great rest of September and then have a great start to October. And I'll see you guys next Monday. Bye.